thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten, and today we are doing a reading vlog, a horror reading vlog. Finally doing one because we had mishaps in October, and okay, it was actually the end of October. Okay, this is the end of October, but this isn't coming to you until November. So yeah, the vlogs in October were not as horror filled as I thought they were going to be, but this one definitely is because I am doing a buddy read with Jennifer. We are buddy reading Our Share of Night by Marina Enriquez, and this one's translated from Spanish by Megan McDowell, and I'm really excited to be reading this one. I did start it today. I have read part one because this book isn't broken up into chapters, it's broken in 2 parts, and so we're allowing ourselves 2 days to tackle each part. Some of them are longer, some of them are shorter. I had a lot of time on my hands today, so I just read this today. It was 168 pages. I did take a break around the 90-page mark, wrote down some of my like initial thoughts, feelings, impressions of it, and then finished out the part. This is going to be a bit of a longer intro because I want to talk about the first part that I read, what I actually thought about it, but also for this video I'm going to be doing a reread of Bat Eater by Kylie Baker. This is one that I read a few months ago, but it is the Discord book club pick for the month, and I'm very happy to do a reread because when I finished that book I did say if I reread that book I'm probably going to give it the full 5 stars because I gave it a 4.75. However, I have been saying how I was going to purchase a copy of this book because I want to annotate it this time round, but I want the paperback. The paperback's not out till next year, and I was like, I don't know if I want to pay like 20 odd pound for a hardback book when I've already got it on Kindle. I mean, part of me still wants to, like, I know I could go to my local bookshop tomorrow, get them to order in Bat Eater, and it would literally be there the very next day for me to start rereading it. But I do have it on Kindle and I really would rather have the paperback. I do prefer annotating paperbacks. So I think I'm just going to wait and maybe purchase a copy then, but it'll probably be more delayed because I wouldn't be planning to read it anytime soon because it would have already been a reread this year. That was a lot of extra info that you didn't need to know. I'll talk about that book when I get to reading it. I haven't started it yet. I am looking forward to. This one, however, wow. Actually, you know what I should say? I hope you're doing really well. I hope you're taking a little bit of time for some self-care. Grab yourselves a beverage because this is going to be a chatty update. So, Our Share of Night. I am confused, perplexed, and conflicted. Okay, that is literally how I'm feeling about this book. This reminds me so much of the feeling I had when I was reading Gideon the Ninth, where I had no idea what was going on at all. Didn't have a clue what was going on in this book. I just kind of had to go with it. There for the ride. The difference between the two is I liked Gideon. I liked the characters. I felt connected to the characters. I don't feel connected to the characters in this, and so I'm struggling a little bit. The way the narration is done, it feels like we are kept at arm's length from the story. It's done almost like this is a history book being recounted to us rather than me being there with the characters. Like, I'm really not caring about any of the characters that we've met so far. So I'm struggling with that because I can't get connected to the characters. Then I'm a little bit confused with what the hell's going on because we get these moments where it's really, really in-depth, loads of description, but not about the plot. So I'm really confused about what's actually going on with this story because I don't know who this order is. I don't know why we're doing these ceremonies. I don't know what any of this is for. Why are they worshipping darkness? I can hear water. Hang on. I'm back. I am looking a little bit frazzled for this intro. I have had a very long day, but we are going to get through this update or intro. Good luck with this video. Thank you so much for being here. We get loads and loads of really in-depth descriptions, but nothing about the order, what it is, what their aims are, nothing. And I'm kind of confused because it's almost like, well, you should know. You should know what's going on. But then I'm like, okay, but if you are trusting me to know what's going on and we're just going to find out as the book unfolds, I don't mind that. But why am I getting these over-the-top descriptions of things that I don't really need to know? So I'm a little bit confused with the writing style because I feel like we're really info dumpy in some places, but I also have no idea what's going on. I don't like the character we're following either. We're following, in this first part, we're primarily seeing the view from Gaspar's father. Now, Gaspar's dad is somebody that, I'm only saying Gaspar's dad. We do get his name, but I know I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, so I'm so sorry, but I'm just going to say Gaspar's dad. Gaspar's dad works for this order, and he is able to commune with demons and the dead and things like that. He is constantly saying how he refuses to let the order do the same things that they've done to him as they've done to his son. Great. Good. Except he is horrible to his son. He will happily manipulate his son, whether it's through mental manipulation or physical abuse, he will just do it. And it's so casual. It's so casually said that this is how he's going to be. And he's constantly threatening his son, like, you're going to do this, otherwise you know what's going to happen. And like, there's one random moment where he thinks about breaking his son's finger. And it's so casual. And I'm just like, what? And yet you supposedly care about him enough to want to keep him away from the order. It just doesn't seem that way. I'm like, you don't come across as somebody that loves your son. I don't like him. I'm confused about the order, as I've already said. Like, we've really been given no information. And also, if you're trying to hide your son from the order, why are you going to the order? Why have you not just left the order and ran away? I mean, that's what I would do. Like, if I'm trying to be like, okay, well, you can't have my son, I am running, you know. So I don't really understand that either. So yeah, the motive, conflicted. I'm really confused with the motive. There are some really disturbing scenes in this book, but also I don't understand why they're happening either. Maybe I've just missed something. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's really obvious. I've sent Jennifer all of my thoughts in a voice note, so I'm really intrigued to see what her first impressions of this book are, because I'm baffled. I am genuinely very baffled about this book. So yeah, I don't know, because the thing is, like, the confusion, it does remind me of Gideon, and I love this book. Okay, I love this book so much. Okay, I love the Locked Tomb series so freaking much. You do not know what's going on half the time in any of the books. You think you got a handle, you don't. This, or at least that's how it was for me. You may genuinely know what's going on. I did not, but it was great. This, I just think it's the writing style paired with not knowing what's going on, the fact that I don't care about the characters. But at the same time, there's enough there that I'm intrigued to carry on, and I'm hoping that maybe in the different parts we get different people's perspectives, so maybe I'll prefer it a little bit more. Also, there's the way it's written is unusual, because there'll be moments where they don't use any quotation marks and then moments where they do. So you'll have full conversations with no quotation marks and it's all in the same paragraph. They'll suddenly start using quotation marks and speech marks and stuff, and I'm just like, why? I mean, I don't mind a book without speech marks, that's fine, I've read a few of those, but also it's weird to have the mix. I don't really know what that is for, what it's doing. I'm confused. So yeah, the word I used with Jennifer was perplexed, and that is how I'm feeling about this one. So I'm currently giving it like a 2.75, maybe 3, because I just don't know what's going on. So I guess we'll see. But you know what, it's got a really, really high rating. Loads of people love this book, so I want to love it. I am intrigued. I'm just so confused. So that is my first impressions of that book. But before I go, I did treat myself today to a little pumpkin. You're gonna see the B-roll for this actually after this video, because I did it earlier today. After this video? No, after this intro. The next bit of B-roll you see will be me doing a little bit of shopping. Initially I was going for Christmas stuff, and instead I got myself a treat. There was, oh my god, so I went to TK Maxx. That was like my primary thing. I was like, I want to go to TK Maxx, I'm in the area. The book section, oh, that was good. They've had some good stuff there, mainly a lot of the classics. And the thing is, I already own them, but they had like 5 different editions of Dracula and 5 different editions of Frankenstein, and they were so good, and I was so tempted. And I was like, girl, you already own like 2 editions of Dracula and 2 Frankensteins, you do not need more. I really, really wanted more, but I don't need more. But then I saw this and it was like £3 because it was in their clearance, and I just loved it. So I got myself a cute little pumpkin, because honestly I have decided that my pumpkins are just gonna stay visible on my shelves all year round, because I love them. I used to take them down once autumn passed, but sod it, they're gonna stay up all year round. I love the pumpkins. But yeah, so I got that. Very happy with it. Did manage to get a Christmas gift, which was good. Also picked up a book for my sister. I'm going to show you because it looks gorgeous, and she already knows that I got her this, so it's fine. But look at these edges. Is it going to show you? So pretty. It goes all the way around. It is so gorgeous. And it's Egyptian myths and legends, tales of the gods and goddesses, and I know that she loves Egyptian gods, goddesses, also Greek, and she just loves learning about all of that in general. My lighting's gone really weird. I don't know what happened. But yeah, so I got her that. Honestly, this was so cheap, and like, look, it's so pretty. So she knows that she's got this one. I already sent her a picture and stuff, and I was like, do you want me to get this for you? And she was like, yes, please. Just so her. I saw it and I was like, this is just my sister in a nutshell. I had to show it off because I think some of you would really appreciate this edition. It is gorgeous. I've not seen it before. Very, very excited to give that to her when I see her soon. So yeah, that is it. I had a little bit of shopping, and yeah, now I've got a few things to do. I've got a couple videos that I need to finish off, just like final little bits of editing for the 13 Days of Horror, which would have been done by the time this video comes out. So I've got that to finish off. We'll see. I won't be reading any more of this book tonight, but it is kind of early. What's the time? It's 20 to 8 of an evening. So I don't know what I'm going to do actually. I started playing Animal Crossing again. Dangerous. But I don't think I'm going to get as hyped. So I go through phases of playing the game. Maybe just like an hour here or there. Every so often with the game will be good. But yeah, so basically I don't know what's going on. I'm rambling. This is such a long intro. I am so sorry. But I'm going to catch up with you probably once I've read part 2 to give you my thoughts. I don't think part 2 is that long actually. Okay, yeah, part 2 is less than 20 pages, but at least I can come back in to say, do I understand what's happening? That'll be good to know. But yeah, so I will do that probably tomorrow after work, maybe Wednesday morning, we'll see. I think this video is going to be a little bit long because I would like to finish this book in this video, but we've worked it out, and I think Jennifer said this will take us to about Wednesday next week, so I think this video is going to be like 9 days long, 9 or 10 days long or something. So I'm planning to read Bat Eater, and then I may pick up something else. I don't know. I haven't made much of a dent on my October TBR at all. Honestly, I've still got 3 books on that October TBR. One I'm gonna hope that I read in the Relax and Readathon. You would have seen that video before this one. I don't know whether it's gonna happen or not. I really want it to, but then I do have a couple of others. So yeah, I would go and get them, but you know what? I've been chatting for 15 minutes and this is only an intro. So I'm gonna leave you in peace, and I'll catch up with you in a few days, and hopefully I'll have more of an idea of what the hell is going on with this book. Reading part 2, and I preferred it to part 1. It's very short. It was only 20 pages long, and we're following a doctor. So in part 1 we're following Juan. That's how Jennifer pronounced his name, and I'm running with that because I trust her pronunciation way more than mine. Juan does have a problem with his heart, and he does talk about it quite a lot, how he's had multiple different operations to try and save his life. We're now seeing the doctor that's done those operations, and we're seeing him as he's about to die, and he is thinking back on his life and thinking about the different times that he's interacted with Juan, the different operations that he's done to save his life. And you know, it was a decent bit. We learned a few more tidbits around the order and stuff. My problem with this book is that I'm not really connecting to the writing style. If this book was meant to be a book where we don't fully know what's going on with the order, it's meant to be done in little tidbits, like little moments here, and it's like a puzzle you've got to put together for yourself, I don't mind that. But then don't give me over the top descriptions about something that I don't need to know. Part 1 was just a lot of that. Like, it was a lot of over the top descriptions and backgrounds for characters that we just don't need to know about. Like, I've already forgotten half of what I got told in part 1 because I just couldn't keep track of it. I feel like this book could have been shorter and it would have been so much more impactful. I feel like I would have really got so much more from this bit. Like, the fact that I'm almost 200 pages in and I can't tell you what's actually happening is really quite frustrating, mainly because so much of it was over described and yet I can't tell you what's going on with the plot. So it's just a bit frustrating. Like, I feel like a decision should have been made. Either over describe everything or take out the unnecessary stuff and then leave it with, we've got this puzzle that we're piecing together. Having the combination of the two has made it so I just don't know if I'm really liking this. I'm still feeling like it's like a 2.75. I'm honestly tempted to DNF. We are going into Gaspel's perspective from the looks of it in part 3, so I'm going to give this a good try. It's 190 pages long for part 3, so hopefully that will make it that I really enjoy it, and maybe I'll start seeing the hype that everyone else has had, because again, looking on Storygraph, like, it's got a really high star rating. So I really want to know what it is I'm missing out on, and I am still kind of intrigued to know what's going on with the order. Just don't know if it's worth all the extra over the top descriptions. So we're going to try with part 3. and hopefully that will change my perspective on the book. Like, it's definitely not going to be a 5-star read. I think at most it will hit like a 4-star if it can really turn itself around in this part of the book, but it depends. It really does depend, because I mean, I've given it a good go, almost 200 pages, and I just don't know how I'm feeling about it. But thankfully Jennifer's kind of feeling the same. I'm gonna leave her to do her full thoughts and stuff, so I'm not gonna go into details and stuff, but it's been really reassuring to have conversations with her and know that I'm not alone in feeling this way. So that's been really good. But really good to have someone that you can talk to and you both feel the same way. Not so good in what I'm actually trying to read. But I have started my reread of Bat Eater, and this is going okay. I am up to page 62. Hang on a minute, I know I'm at the start of a chapter. Chapter 5. I've just started chapter 5. Because it's a reread, I can just stop at any point and it really doesn't bother me. My thing with this is I don't think this is going to be the 5-star read I thought it was going to be upon reread, and it's a shame, but I mean, I still like it. I think so far I would actually go, I wouldn't change my rating from when I first read it, which is when I gave it a 4.75, but I do feel like it's a 4.5 when I'm comparing it to other books that I have given 4.75. There's just something about this that I can't fully give it that really high rating. Like, it's a really good book. I love the themes in this book. We recently read a scene that stuck with me from the very first time that I read this book, and it was such a devastating scene. So to set up this book, for those of you that don't know, we're following Cora. It is during COVID, like the pandemic's just hit and everyone's in lockdown. Cora and her sister are traveling home after finally securing some toilet paper. On their way home, Cora's sister gets murdered. She gets pushed in front of a train. We then fast forward a few months and Cora is working for a crime scene investigation, a crime scene cleaner. So they go in, clean up all the crime scenes and stuff. She is obviously still reeling from the death of her sister, and Cora is a very interesting character anyway, because she has built up her life around her sister. So her identity, her self-worth, she is always built up around her sister, and I feel like there is so much discussion that you can have about how dangerous it is to build your self-worth based on others, because that's not any way to live. Like, you need to be able to be happy with you, yourself. You need to be able to have your own self-worth that is not reliant on other people. It is really important. So to see Cora spiraling out because her life was built around this person that's no longer in her life, you're really seeing her struggle. And on top of that, like, she doesn't know what she wants from life. She doesn't have any goals or dreams, and you know what, that's fine. Not everybody knows what they want to do. Pair that with the fact that her self-identity has always been around that I am a sister, that my sister makes decisions for me, she decides what we're doing and stuff. She's got no self-agency. It's sent her into this spiral and she is just free falling. Like, she's got nothing. She's also being pulled in 2 different directions by her aunts, because she is Chinese American and she has one aunt that's Chinese and one aunt that's American, and you see how they're just trying to pull her in these different directions to both cultures, and they both have different views on how Cora should be. Again, because she doesn't have this sense of like self-worth and self-identity, she is struggling even more so because she can't really tell either of them no, and she's trying to please them but can't please them, and it's really difficult. So I think this book does a really interesting look about what it is to be biracial. I can't really comment on that at all, but I think from an outside perspective it does seem really well done. Like, it's so in depth. Like, I really feel for her. Pair that with the identity that's based on somebody else, like, she's just lost. She is so lost. And then we also have the fact that she's got severe OCD and dealing with a pandemic, and there is this scene, because this book, not only is it touching on themes of what it is to be biracial, feeling like you're torn between 2 cultures, never enough for one or the other to actually fit in, also to lose a person that you've built your self-identity around, but it's also looking at the extreme racism that happened towards Asian people because of COVID. In that, you have this one particular scene which stuck with me from the first time I read the book, and that is where someone comes up to Cora and spits in her mouth, like pulls down the mask and spits in her mouth, because, you know, she's Asian. And it's atrocious. It is the most vile and disgusting scene, but what I love about how it was written is that I just had so much emotion. You could really feel the emotion from Cora, the panic, the way that she needs to get over this, how her aunts are like, oh, for God's sake, you know, like, oh, this is all an inconvenience to the aunt, rather than actually like helping Cora. Yeah, I really feel for Cora. I think especially in this first bit of the book, we really get it set up about how alone Cora feels and how she just doesn't feel like she's got anything going for her, no focus or anything. As we go further throughout the book, we learn more about Chinese culture, hungry ghosts, which was really interesting to learn about, so I know we've got all of that coming. And then we start exploring a lot more of the hatred towards Asian people and the racism and stuff. Like, it's really good. I do really enjoy it. I think it is a really well thought out book, but there is something that stops it from being that 5-star for me. But I'm just not really feeling it right now. I think because I'm struggling a little bit with Our Share of Night. I really thought I'd be really into this one, but I'm wanting something completely different. So originally my plan for this week was to read Bat Eater, Our Share of Night, and then potentially also fit in a short little read that's on my October TBR, which is Follow Me to Ground, and I was really feeling it. But yesterday just kind of hit, and I'm like, I'm trying to read this. I haven't been loving Our Share of Night, and I was like, I just want something that's really fun and light and easy to read. And so I was thinking about, well, what do I want to read? And then I remembered a book that I've got saved on my Kindle, and it is A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire by Sarah Hawley. This is the 3rd book in the Glimmerfall series, and I read them out of order. I read number 2 first, and then I read number 1, and I've just been feeling it. I'm just really feeling it. And does it go with the vibe of reading a horror book? No. This is just a rom-com fantasy, but it's got vampires and werewolves, so I'm counting it. I'm just really in the mood for something light. I know this is not going to be like an amazing read, but it's going to be really easy. Like, it's just going to be something that is light and fluffy and funny, and that's kind of all I want right now, so I'm gonna go for it. This is why I have books like that saved on my Kindle, because sometimes you just need to break up what you're reading with something that is just light and fun. And so yeah, I'm gonna read that. I think I'm just gonna take a little break from Bat Eater. I'm gonna read this instead. I will finish my reread of Bat Eater at some point. Like, I'm not too worried because it is a reread, and I read it recently. Like, I only read it in July, I think it was. So, you know, it's fresh in my mind. All the things that are gonna happen, like, it's all fresh in my mind. So I'm not too worried when I'm gonna get back to it and stuff, because I know I'll get back to it. I know I liked it. I'm not gonna lower my rating to the 4.5, but I do think that's where it is upon rereading this book. I think that's where it is, as much as it's got really important themes. So it's fine. But I want to go with something that's just fun, light, entertaining, and then hopefully that will get me back into wanting to read the other book. But yeah, I think I'm gonna swap gears. So this isn't going to be the horror vlog that I thought it would be, but you know what, that's just how October's been, and I would rather run with my mood than potentially push myself into a slump because I'm trying to force other things. So I'm not going to. I'm going to take some time, read a little bit of a light, fun rom-com fantasy. Like, this is a thing, my romantasy reads, I don't really like all of the other mainstream romantasy that's coming out, but a rom-com, oh god, they're so much fun. Not contemporary, I'm still not convinced on contemporary rom-coms and stuff, but add a little bit of fantasy to a bit of a rom-com and I am there, and I'm having such a fun time. So this is just really good. It was either between this or reading The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, to be quite honest, because that's another series by Laurie Gilman that I really enjoy. But I don't know, I think werewolves and vampires for October just hits that a little bit better, so I'm gonna go with that one. Again, it's why I have these, it's why I like the oh, my books aren't here. I keep forgetting I've rearranged ages ago, but they used to all be here as like rom-com cozy romances and stuff, but like the Laurie Gilmore series, the name that I've forgotten, the Pumpkin Spice Cafe series, you know, let me grab them, hang on. So like different books like these. So I have one, oh, Dream Harbor, there we go. One from the Dream Harbor series, the rest I own on Kindle. I have, this is the one, Glimmerfall is the 3rd book I'm going to be reading in the series, but I have the 2nd book that I own because I picked this up secondhand. Didn't realise it was the 2nd book in the series. I've also, India Holton is also an author that's really good for it as well. So like these 3 authors are just authors that I'm like, I would rather have a couple of your books on hand for when a mood like this hits. So these are my sort of like go-to light rom-com breakup when I'm reading kind of reads. They're just so much fun. I just have such a good time with them. So if you have any other authors that are like this, that give these sort of vibes, as these three, then please do let me know in the comments below, because I always like having them on hand for times when I'm just like, I really need a break of just like to mix up what I'm reading. So Laurie Gilmore, Sarah Hawley and India Holton are three authors that do that for me. If you've got any other authors that work with this, please let me know in the comments below, because I would love to get some more recommendations. I'm going to leave it there. I'm gonna change up my reading, and hopefully that's really gonna help me just feel a little bit better towards what I'm reading. I'm gonna try and read for an hour of Our Share of Night today, and then the rest of the day I'm just gonna focus on the Kindle book, and I feel like that's gonna be amazing. And then I can decide after reading for this for an hour whether I want to continue or not. It's kind of weird because I do want to know what's going on, but I also don't enjoy the writing style enough to keep wanting to push through. So we'll try for another hour and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, okay, well that is everything. So I'm gonna do some food. I will catch up with you soon, and I'm really feeling like a fun little romance time. Like, it's been ages. It's been such a long time, so it's definitely needed. Fell down a journaling rabbit hole, which we're gonna get into, but let's talk about books first. So I've read a tiny little bit of part 3. I'm up to page 227 and I'm just not connecting to this book. I think the problem is it's nowhere near as horror leaning as what I hoped. Like, yes, we did get a couple of scenes that were very distressing, but we've had zero explanation for them, so I don't really know why they were put in there. And I'm talking about a couple of scenes from part 1. And we've just not had any more horror. It doesn't feel like. We've not had any real explanation of the Order. Now we're in Gasper's narrative, which makes sense because he has no idea about the Order. But it just feels like this is a really slow story that's more focused on like literary, historical fiction than the actual horror elements. And I was going into this for a horror book about a cult and all of this stuff, and it just hasn't quite panned out. And this could be very much a my expectation thing, which it probably is considering how many people have really enjoyed this book. Although when I was looking at reviews on Storygraph, a lot of people have also DNF'd this book. So I don't know, I think it's just a case of expectations were wrong for this one. Like, I really wanted more of the horror that we were getting at the end of part 1, but we've just not had that. Part of me is like, wants to keep going because I want to see if we're going to get more of that horror. I want to know about the Order and everything that's going on, but I just don't want to read it at the exact same time. Like, I took a day off from reading this yesterday and I have had zero want to get back to this book. I think I'm just gonna message Jennifer and just be like, I think I'm just gonna DNF, because I've had zero interest to want to pick this book up. It is becoming a chore. It's not doing what I want it to do. And again, this is not any fault on the book. That is my fault, like, for going in wanting something that was more one way than what it is. Part of me really wants to keep going, and I did try this morning. I was like having my hot drink, sitting down with this book, and I'm like, come on, we can do this. I just wasn't that interested. And then I was like, okay, well, let me flick forward a bit, do my usual thing of if I'm not sure how I'm feeling about a book, maybe I'll flick forward, see if there's anything of interest. But even flicking forward throughout the book, it just doesn't feel like we're ever actually going to get that full horror that I'm wanting from this book. And because I have been struggling with the tone of the writing in this, I think I'm just gonna have to cut my losses. Like, I am so devastated. I really wanted to read this book. I really wanted to love this one. Like, I just can't get on with it, unfortunately. So yeah, rather than sitting here trying to force my way through it and just have constant updates with me just feeling very meh towards the book, I think I'm just gonna be like, you know what, unfortunately this is not for me. There are so many people that do love this book, but it's just not been how I wanted it. Like, I really thought we were going to go heavy into the cult side of things, and none of that's really been explained. But like I already said, like, we've had so much over explanation of other things and tangents going on that I'm just like, but where's the Order stuff? Where is all the horror stuff going on? Like, why isn't that in here? Like, it just, yeah. So unfortunately, not for me. I'm so devastated. I really, really wanted to love this book, but I just... See, even now, part of me is like, oh, but you could try again. And it's like, I've been trying. I keep trying. I just don't enjoy it. And I'm not going to force myself through a book that I'm just finding okay at best. Like, I probably could finish this book and then I'd probably give it like a 2.5 because, again, my expectations just weren't right for this book. And at the same time, I'm just like, why do I want to read a book that's only going to be a 2.5? Like, I've actually had such a mid-reading month overall in terms of all the physical books that I've read off of my shelves. Like, it's actually a little bit crazy. Like, by this point, the wrap-up should be out by now, or it's just after this one, so let me actually show you what I mean. So this is the stack of physical books that I have read or attempted to read this month, and what's crazy is it's only Bunny that I've actually enjoyed. Kind of crazy. I mean, I say that, I did enjoy The Ballerinas, but this was like a 3-star rating. I like the ballerina aspect of it, but like nothing amazing. A DNF, a book I wish I didn't finish because the ending I really disliked, so like I gave it a 2.5, but honestly with how much I disliked it, I am honestly considering being like, actually this is more of like a 2-star read. My reread of Bunny, which was 5 stars, and then 2 DNFs. Like, my physical reading this month just hasn't been that great, and so when I'm thinking of this book and I'm just like, I could try and force myself through it, finish it, but I think it would be a case of like with The Latinist where I'm like, I just don't understand why I finished this book. I mean, to be fair, slightly different. I really liked the start of The Latinist, but like, I don't want it to be a case where I'm reading another like 2.5 book. Like, I have had such like a mid-reading month, and you know, the thing is, right, at the same time, I'm happy with this because I've got them all off my shelves, but it does kind of go to show how this month has gone, and I'm just like, I really don't want to then make myself go through reading more of this book on the off chance that I might give it like a 3-star read. There's just no point. So I'm not going to force myself into it, and we're just gonna move on. Now, Kindle reading this month has been solid. Like, it's been a really good Kindle read month. So I've read a tiny bit more of Bat Eater, nothing much. Like, I think it's actually been like 3 chapters. So I'm now up to chapter 9, page 107. I'm enjoying this. Like, it's a reread. We know I'm enjoying it. My main bit for me that I'm more focused on in my reread is actually going to be the end of this book, because this has been such a close reread. Like, did I mention that I read this in July? So it's literally been 3 months. So very, very close together. So I'm remembering a lot of this plot line, but the main reason why I wanted to reread this book, one, because it's a Discord book club pick, but also because of the ending of the book, because there was a few scenes that happened that I'm just like, I don't know if we actually needed them in the book. And it was this is a very slow build book. So we get the explosive start with Cora's sister being pushed in front of a train, and then everything slows right down. I don't mind that, but it did feel, from what I remember of reading the ending of the book, it did feel very fast paced, and it felt like we were kind of like rushing to wrap everything up. So I'm intrigued to see if I feel the same way about the ending. For now, where we're up to, like, we're starting to get Cora, like, she's actually interacting a little bit more with her work colleagues. They're finding more crime scenes with bats and things, and Cora's still dealing with things just going ominously, weirdly missing in her home and stuff. So I'm enjoying it. I love the themes in this book so much, and that's like the strongest point for me. So I'm enjoying my reread. Like, it's a really easy one because I've already read it so recently. Like, I'm not having to pay too much attention because I already know a lot of this, and I already know where I want my attention focused is towards the end of this book. But I'm liking it. Like, it's an easy read. If you're reading this for the first time, I wouldn't say this is an easy read because it is a bit slow paced. Obviously, you're dealing with some very heavy topics, but because I've read this so recently, I'm finding it a very easy read. I'm liking this though. I think, like I've said, like, it's the themes in this book. The themes is what is done so well, and I think that's what lends to the actual horror element of this, is because it's all based on true events. If you read the author's note in the back of this book, the reason why this was written so well and so viscerally with some of those scenes of hatred towards Asian people is because the author was going through this, because she was drawing on real life experiences that she was seeing or was being done to her because of the pandemic. And that's what makes it horrendous. Like, that is the true horror of this book. Obviously there are things going to extremes in this book with like the murders and the bats being left behind, is just that fact of this is how humans can be. Like, truly humans are the worst monsters, and this book really highlights that, and how something like a pandemic, rather than bringing people together, it really plays on hatred and even makes divisions between people worse. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the read of it all. I think Cora, for me, like I already mentioned, like, she's going through so much, she's in such a free fall, so while I can't always connect to everything that she's doing, I can understand it because of everything she's going through. But then there are moments where I can really connect to her because I am a bit of a planner and control freak and stuff, so I do understand those moments when she's just having a little bit of a meltdown over something that some people would look at and be like, oh, you're fine, like it's just this, and I'm just like, I kind of get that. I'm enjoying my reread of this book. It's one that I'm just picking up when I feel like it. I'm not forcing it. I think I'm going to focus on this one more when I finish my other Kindle read, which is the book that I focused on yesterday instead of attempting to pick up Our Share of Night. A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire. I actually stopped in the middle of a chapter last night. I was getting really tired and then I got distracted with journaling stuff, which we'll get into. But I am up to page 179. We are on chapter 18 and I'm just really enjoying this. Okay, this is so silly, right? I will say I did not like the first chapter at all. So we're following Ben. We get two perspectives, but the character that we know from the first two books is Ben. Ben is a werewolf and we meet him in the first chapter when he is at a wedding for one of his friends, which is one of the characters from the previous books. Plotline wise, I'm going to say the first two books were a lot stronger, but I don't care. I don't go into this for plot. I really didn't like the first chapter. I was reading the first chapter and I'm just like, oh, I don't know if I'm actually going to enjoy this book. Maybe this just isn't for me right now, because we're seeing Ben. He's feeling very sorry for himself at this wedding, and we get a comment going, oh yeah, it's a terrible thing to be single at a wedding, like it feels so lonely and stuff. Once we got past that first chapter, like, this has just been funny. Like, I've just been having a laugh out loud time with it. I mean, it's silly. It's really not a book that I'm gonna go, oh, this is amazing, it's well written, it's a new favorite, things like that. It's not any of that. This is just a really easy, funny read. Like, that's literally all it is. But we get the second perspective, which is Eleanor. Now, Eleanor is a vampire succubus and she has been trapped inside this gem for centuries, and whoever owns the gem has control over Eleanor, and Ben drunkenly purchased this gem thinking it was a joke and everything, and turns out that no, this is a real person inside this gem, and this whole series of events comes about. Like, it is just so stupid funny. This isn't the best writing. Okay, I'm never gonna go out and be like, oh my god, this is the best writing ever, but this is the sort of book that I enjoy to break up my reads, to have something that is just so head empty, fun, light, popcorn, silliness, you know? That's all I want from this book, and it is delivering. So apart from that, like, first chapter, which I just didn't really like, the rest of this book has just been really fun and silly and just, yeah, kind of ridiculous. We do have a plot line going on in this book, but it's really not one that I'm that focused on. Ben himself is a werewolf with anxiety, and he really struggles because he's like, well, I should enjoy shifting, I should enjoy all of these werewolf aspects of me, I'm not a proper werewolf because of all of this. Like, he really puts himself down. He also works himself to the bone to try and be there and support everybody else, so he's like always like putting his energy into others and never really looking after himself. So I'm hoping to see a bit of character development on Ben's side. I think seeing some of that anxiety that he goes through, the fact that he overthinks and over worries about everything, I do think there are moments where I'm just like, okay, I really get it, because, you know, as a certified overthinker, I do get bits like that. I'm just enjoying it. It's so silly. This is such an easy book to pick up and put down. Like, I can put it down in the middle of a chapter and it doesn't matter. I really don't have to pay too much attention to this. I'm just having fun with it. Like, this is such an easy breezy read, and it's kind of what I need right now. So yeah, I'm gonna focus on this book, I think, and then once I finish this, then I'll swap to Bat Eater and finish out that. So yeah, that's the reading plans. I'm feeling happier with the decision to just put down Our Share of Night. As much as I want to love it, it's just not really working for me. So yeah, I'm just having a lot of fun with my ebooks and it's just been great. But I did say I'd quickly talk about Plan Out. We've already been talking for ages right now, so I'm going to try and keep it short. But basically, it's coming up to the new year. I love planners, I love setting up different things, and I've been thinking for a little while that the way I've had my planner set up, it's been, honestly, they're all quite big and they're all a bit all over the place, so I took some time last night to really funnel through the different notebooks that I actually want to use, what's going to stay here, what will, because I've been starting to take notebooks with me out more and more because I've been writing down ideas and things. Like, I really want to get away from using the notes app on my phone, especially because it's all over the place. Like, I can't collate it into organized things that I want to on my notes. Like, it just feels too all over the place and then I lose things. So I've been looking into planner content. I love looking into planner content. My problem is I get very obsessed with planners very quickly. Like, I don't know what it is about them, I love them. But I really was looking into getting a traveler's book set up, or like the Paper Republic ones and stuff. The thing is, they're stupid expensive. And then I was going through all of my planner stuff and I found this. I forgot about this. I was using this when I was doing more like junk journaling a couple years ago. This is from Notebook Therapy and I've used 2 of the inserts already. It came with 3 inserts, but I'm like, this is the perfect size for me in going out. I can chuck it in my bag and I can have the different inserts that I'm looking for. So I am going to be going shopping in a couple days time so that I can get a couple things, nothing expensive, but just a couple things that I prefer it. So like this, I would like to change it so it's not black, but the clip is where it's going to be holding in my monthly calendar. This is what I use for like YouTube content, so I can plan out what my month is looking like content wise. I just find it really helpful. I do always have a digital version, but I just find this, the digital version is for Discord though. This is what I prefer to use for myself and like actually making sure I get videos done on time. And then in here I've got so far 3 books, but I am going to be putting in a 4th one. So this one is just loose in there. This is what I've been using to write down all of my thoughts on books. So like when I finish reading a section of a book, I write down my little thoughts and things. This is messy, it's silly, like I just highlight the title and where I'm up to and then write down my thoughts. Like, there is nothing else to it. Like, I've been finding this very helpful to really think about my different thoughts and just kind of assess things, think about if there's anything that I want to be talking about, want to be focusing on. Like the Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire, I was like, this is really silly, it's exactly what I need, it's not great, that I didn't like the first chapter, and that there is a lot of like Pinterest style quotes in this book which are a little bit cringy, but I love the stupid romance, like, and then I go on to talk about the stupid romance, the awkwardness that's going on, plotline, how I'm not that interested in it, that I think it's better in the other 2 books. So like everything I've said, I can put in here, and I've just been finding it really helps me get to understanding why I like a book, why I'm not liking a book. So I'm going to be continuing on with this. So this is just like a little one that I slip in here. And then I've got these 2. So this one is just going to be like an easy notes. When I've got ideas, I can jot it down. And then this one, this is going to be started properly next year, where I'm going to be having, so basically it's like the personal curriculum stuff that's been going around. I want to make sure that I'm actually taking time to read non-fiction books. I really want to learn about particular areas. I've got to focus in on certain areas of history and the natural world, and so I want to be keeping notes of what I'm doing there. So I'm thinking that's what this one's going to be. And then I do want to get one that's more of like a weekly calendar, like an undated weekly, where I can keep up with everything I need to do, all of the content, like when I need to upload reels and stuff. Like I was meant to upload a reel yesterday and I completely forgot, and Fridays are like the worst day to upload reels on, so I'm not gonna bother. But like just things like this where I just need to stay on top of everything rather than having it spread out across so many different things. So like I've got a Notion app, I've got my notes app, and I've got a bigger to-do list in a book, but that always stays at home, it doesn't come out with me. So I just wanted something that's travel size, that can come out with me, that has all the different things, and I will probably add to this as I go, but I'm really excited. So I want to get myself a little insert, if I can find one that's a weekly that fits in this. Otherwise I'll get a plain one, like a plain lined one, and just like make it. Yeah, I love planner content. I've always wanted to do one like this that I actually have out of me, but I've just not ever done it. I still have other journals, like I've got what is going to be my reading journal next year. This is actually going to be a ring bound one, and this is my reading journal for next year. Very excited because I've not had a ring bound one. And then I've also got a bunch of other journals and stuff. Eventually at some point I will have to do a journaling video, but that might be something where I put up for vote on Patreon, like a Patreon exclusive going into how I do my journaling, how I actually stay organized. But I just found that I just want to go smaller so that I can take things out with me rather than what I have got, which is bigger notebooks that I then don't take anywhere with me, which is then why I have to use my phone so much when I'm not at home, because I still need access to all of my to-do lists and stuff, and I just think this just makes more sense to me. I'm very excited, but I do want to get a few things. Like I want to make some charms to go on here and like here, and then like I said, I want to just swap this out for something cuter. I also want to get a pen clip, just like little things where I'm just like, you know what, I've saved money on the actual book, like leather cover. Like Paper Republic is so expensive, and honestly so many of them, so many brands are so expensive, and you don't need to go expensive, but for the size that I want, like I very much wanted this little like pocket size. I knew what I wanted, so yeah, I have this one from Notebook Therapy, and I was like, I can just reuse you. That's what I'm gonna do. And a lot of my notebooks in here, they're actually from when I went to Thailand. That's a little planner update that you probably didn't ask for, but got anyway. You'll have to let me know, do you like planners and stuff? Do you start getting into it this time of year? I love it. Yeah, anyway, that is all the updates. I've been talking for 25 minutes. Hopefully editing me can kind of cut down some of the waffle, especially places where I've like repeated myself and stuff. So hopefully it won't be anywhere near as long. Okay, I've got loads to do. I've got another video to start. I will catch up with you probably just when I finish A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire. I think I'm just gonna, yeah, update when I finish that. But I'm just having such fun. Like, this has not been the horror vlog that I wanted or hoped for, but you know what, I needed to go with the mood. I've had such a mid reading month that I'm just like, I said I would stop talking, I'm still going on. I'll see you in a bit. Few days it feels like. I can't remember when I last updated. I'm like, was it just before I was starting Relax and Readathon? Like the day of Relax and Readathon, I know I started Relax and Readathon, but I also pretty sure I did another video, and I can't remember if it was this one or if it was the start of the Stephen King vlog. I don't know. This is the only problem with having so many vlogs ongoing at the same time, is I can't remember which one I last updated. I've got to start writing it down. Like I have a little list of what's going into these videos, and like I write down, okay, we've done the intro, what the next bit of b-roll is, the update, and then things like this, but I never date the updates because I'm always just like, it's fine. I need to start dating the updates so then I can come on here knowing, especially if it's been a few days, when I last updated. What I should probably do is like rewatch the end of the update that I filmed, but I haven't got around to editing any of this vlog yet, so that wouldn't be happening. So yeah, I don't know. I genuinely have no idea where I left it. I know I was talking to you about journaling though, and wanting to go and get some journaling supplies, and I did go out today and have a little look. It isn't even that late, but it looks like it's hella like late right now. Could you tell? I don't know. Could you tell? I've just got really like lights on, the big lights on, my ring lights on, because it's so dark now. It gets so dark so early now. The point that I was going with that was I've been out already. It's now the evening time. It's like getting on for 5 o'clock, and I did pick up a couple of inserts for my journal, but I didn't manage to get everything that I was after. So what I really wanted was some like accessory things that I mentioned. Couldn't find anything in central London, I'm not gonna lie, or at least couldn't find anything that wasn't ridiculously priced. So instead I ended up just picking up stuff at the first place I went to, which was Muji. I went to a few different places. I can't even remember where I took all the footage from, because again, I was trying to do a short. I thought, oh, I can do a short of me going around stationery shops, having a look at what they've got and stuff. And then in the end, I just kind of gave up. I wasn't finding what I was looking for anyway. And I was like, because the idea of it was that then the next short would be a haul of the things that I got, but all I got were these. So I'm going to scrap that idea and we're going to have to come up with 2 different video ideas for short form content. Honestly, I much prefer YouTube. I prefer YouTube so much. Anyway, point was, I went to a few different places but ended up just sticking with these 3 that I picked up. So the main thing that I wanted, and I was so happy they had, is this one. And this is an undated weekly like calendar. So I don't know if this camera's even going to show you properly, but like you've got the dates here, almost like a Hobonichi style, but I'm not paying the ridiculous price for a Hobonichi. Instead, I paid like £6, just under £6 for this. And I'm very happy it fits in my planner. I took my planner out with me so that I could like properly make sure all the sizing. Very happy with this. This is exactly what I was looking for. And it's quite handy because I've got like the month bit at the front as well. So this is going to be great. This is what I'm going to be using for my short form content and like days I need to film for YouTube, because I tend to have bulk filming days and then I'll just edit slowly throughout the month, which is great. And then I got a couple of like just like little ones. I've got one that's just plain paper, no lines or anything like that, and then one that is a lined one, and they're all perfect. They all work for what I wanted. So I got these. These were only like £1 something each, so hence why I just thought, I'll pick some up. So yeah, so I got some inserts. Didn't manage to get any of the accessory stuff that I wanted, but you know what, at least I got this one. This was the main one that I was hoping I would find today. I found it. That's the main thing. Like accessories, like it's not a necessity. To be fair, none of this is a necessity, but accessories even less so. Plus I have stuff that I could make one. We'll see, I don't know. Anyway, it's been like almost 5 minutes and I've not spoken about books. Mainly because, like I said, I can't remember when I last updated. So I can't remember if I updated when I finished A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire. I can't remember if I did or not. But I finished this one and I'm giving it a 3.75. I will cut all of this out if I've already said this. But it just ended up being a really funny, entertaining time. Oh, was this? I think it may have been the case of I thought I was going to update. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. This was just everything I've already been saying. Like, it's not the best book out there. I am going to use this for the R Fantasy prompt of taking down a system, because technically there is a plot in here, the plot that I just was not interested in, and it's about Ben's sister going to be mayor, like they're running a campaign very last minute, but just to go up against the current mayor, because the current mayor has been in power quite a few times and they only ever focus on the elite of the society rather than the rest of society. They also don't care about nature, they don't care about helping the art or just like local businesses and things. Like, they're only focused on the things that they are actively involved in and their wealthy friends. Otherwise they're just not interested in the community. And so Ben's sister decided that she's had enough of that and she's going to go up against it. So I took it as a very loose, we're taking down the system. So that's what I'm using it for. I mean, to be fair, this would also work for finishing a series, because I have finished the Glimmer Falls series. Sarah Hawley is doing another series. I think book 1 for that's already come out, but I haven't read it yet. But yeah, this series is done with this trilogy. So I could even just use it for that if technically this is stretching it too far for taking down the system, but I think it works in a very like light, cozy way. I mean, that plot line to it, I didn't really find that interesting. Like, I just wasn't bothered about that. I kind of felt like it was there just to pad the story out rather than actually having any impact so much on the relationship that was being built. Like, a little bit, because Ben is someone that works himself to the ground and he was overworking himself so much to try and help his sister with her campaign, also run his own business and trying to do some expansion things going on there. And now he's got this vampire succubus that he's trying to help break the curse that's keeping her bound to whoever owns her little amulet plastic thing this time around. So, you know, he's just overwhelmed, but that's who he is. Like, he is an overthinker. He is always trying to please others. He only has self-worth if he's helping other people. Seeing his progress to try and stop that, and how, you know, the vampire succubus decides that, you know, this isn't right, and she pushes out against that and kind of gets him to realize, you know, it's good to have boundaries, and then while still going through her own stuff and everything. So, you know what, it's just a light book. Like, these are what I find just fun, entertaining reads. I'm giving it a 3.75. It's not one I'm ever going to want on my shelves. I'm quite happy with just having the one book from the series on my shelves, and to be fair, that one book was my favourite out of the 3, so that worked out great. It works for what I need every so often, just having that head empty, no thoughts, lots of fun silliness, and I really don't have to pay attention to the plotline and the things that are going on. It's just silly. It's also my sort of nonsense humour, which it was great. So yeah, I enjoyed this. 3.75. I have also finished Bat Eater. I enjoyed my reread of this. Like I say, I think it's a bit detrimental that I actually read it too close together, like having it within 3 months doing a reread. I think sometimes that can be great, and I was in the mood for it, but then I don't know, I just kind of started not being in the mood to read it. Like, I just wanted to read other things. Yeah, but I got through it. Like, I enjoyed it. I still think this book is brilliant in terms of the themes that it is discussing. I do think there are still a couple of scenes towards the end that I just think aren't quite necessary, didn't need to happen, but definitely added a little bit of a grotesque horror element to it. I also like seeing Cora slowly build friendships with the people that she's working with, and just, yeah, overall this is a really solid book. So I think for me, I was thinking about it and reflecting, because I also finished a book for Relax and Readathon and I ended up giving it a 4.5 stars, and I'm like, out of that and Bat Eater, I think I slightly prefer the book that I read for the Relax and Readathon, which was My Darling Dreadful Thing. Really loved it, and I only gave that one a 4.5. So it makes me think either I'm really stingy with my ratings, which to be fair could 100% be the thing, or I do see this book, Bat Eater, as more like a 4.5, maybe even a 4.25. Like, I feel like it is a really solid high 4-star read, but it's not a full 5 stars, because I can go, I prefer more gothic leaning works. Like, the horror in this was really well done, and the discussions in it was really well done. So like, the theming was great, but there is something about this book that just didn't, it's not my preferred, like, oh my god, I love this new favorite. I don't know, I think I'm just really fussy. I think that's the base cause of it, is I'm just really fussy. But I did really enjoy this book. I'm really pleased that I did reread it, if only to cement the fact that, because I really thought this would be a 5-star read upon reread, and it's not, and in a way that kind of makes me feel a bit sad, but also reassured that my initial rating for how I was feeling about this book, because like, I was getting to a point in the book where I was feeling like a 4.25, and then I finished it, and then I was like, yeah, but all those themes were really well done, and I was like, I should boost this up to a 4.75 just based on the themes. And I think thematically this book is a 5-star read. The things that it brings up, the way it calls out society, really well done. 5-star read, hands down. But just in terms of my enjoyment, because enjoyment does have to come into a star rating, for me that's what lowers it a little bit, because while I did love all of the elements to the book, there's just something about it that isn't quite like hitting me in my god tier level books, which is what a 5-star is for me. I need to come up with, like, I'm too pedantic. I'm so pedantic, but it's fine. But yeah, so that's what I did. And then Our Share of Night. Did DNF. I couldn't carry on. I spoke to Jennifer about it, and I was just like, I just can't with this one, unfortunately, and it was such a shame. But yeah, I'm not going to tell you what Jennifer thought about that. I'm going to leave her channel linked below. You should go check her out. She is such a lovely person, so I'm going to leave you to have a little look to see what she thought. But for me, this one was a DNF, so unfortunate. It was so unfortunate, and I think, like I said, I was wanting more horror from this book, and I just don't feel like the little tidbits we were getting in between all of these long tangents of excess information that I just didn't need worked for me, unfortunately. But that does bring us to the end of this video, which didn't turn out to be as horror filled as what I thought. I mean, I still did finish one horror book, DNF'd a horror book, and then just had a fun rom-com time. So, you know, not quite how I hoped it would go, but it was still a decent week. It was fine. But right, yeah, anyway, I could just keep rambling on about nonsense, and I've got things to do. I actually just want to spend the evening tidying, which, you know, it's got to be done. I think I'm just going to put on some YouTube in the background, catch up on some videos, because there's been quite a few coming out, and I'm just like, you know what, and like Jan Agaton, love watching her videos. She just posted a video, and it was like, I finished 7 amazing books in this one, and I'm just like, tell me more. I want to know. Do I keep adding to an endless TBR? Yes. Anyway, right, I'm gonna go. I am waffling on nonsense. So thank you so freaking much for watching. You'll have to let me know if you've read Our Share of Night and what you thought of it. I would be interested. Or even Bat Eater if you took part in the Discord book club for that. That was honestly, I loved Bat Eater and everyone reading that just purely for the discussion that came about. I thought that was brilliant. But if you want to join in for any future book clubs, we already are voting on, by the time this video comes out, it might have been done on what is for January, because we always have it a couple months in advance. So if you're interested in seeing what we're going to be reading, then it's always linked below for you. It's free to join. But anyway, right, I said I was going and I'm still chatting, so thank you so much for dealing with all of my rambles. I mean, honestly, I'm like this book, aren't I? I go off on so many unnecessary tangents. Thank you for putting up with it. I truly appreciate it. You are the star of the show. An extra special thank you goes out to all of my Patreons for all of your support over there. It means the absolute world. And if you've enjoyed this video, then please do consider giving it that thumbs up, subscribing and commenting. Those 3 things really help this channel out. My social media links, everyone I've mentioned, Discord, Patreon, everything is always linked below for you. And I will of course catch you in the very next video.